To also welcome you back also at this other session. Now, last time we looked at what? We looked at photosynthesis. So, and we went ahead and looked at the adaptations of leaves. So today we are going to look at the conditions necessary for what? For photosynthesis. Now, in senior 4, we looked at only 3 conditions, and these were carbon dioxide, water, and light. But at our level here, we have added the fourth one, which is the photosynthetic what? Photosynthetic pigments. So those are the conditions necessary for photosynthesis. I said one is carbon dioxide, water, light, and lastly photosynthetic what? Photosynthetic pigment. Now, let us actually, I've summarized for you some notes down there. Like we have conditions, then explanatory what? Explanatory notes. Now, when we talk about carbon dioxide, here we have land plants obtain carbon dioxide, one by diffusion via stomata. Then they can also absorb carbon dioxide by absorbing what we call the carbonate ions from soil via the what? Via the roots. Those are the 2 ways how plants can obtain what? Carbon dioxide. I said one is from diffusion via stomata, then 2 by absorbing the carbonate ions from soil via roots. Then 2, aquatic plants absorb dissolved bicarbonate through their general surface to carbon dioxide. When we talk about aquatic plants, those are plants which live mainly in what? In water. Then we also have air contains about 0.04%, that is by volume carbon dioxide, while it is variable in what? In water. Then the second one, let us look at water. We say water provides the hydrogen ions, in bracket what we are calling protons, and the electrons for the radiation of carbon dioxide as shown below. Then lastly we have light. So the 3 important properties of light. By the way, when you look at light as a condition for photosynthesis, it is also classified into 2 to 3. Those are the properties. One is quality stroke color. Then Roman number 2 is the intensity stroke brightness. And Roman number 3 is duration stroke what? Stroke time. That's how light is classified. Then we are saying down there that light is electromagnetic energy propagated in discrete particles called the photons or the quanta. So light is propagated in discrete particles, the ones we are calling the photons or the quantum. So from there, let us look at what we call the electromagnetic radiation. Now, when we talk about electromagnetic radiation, is a form of energy transmitted through a vacuum. So when we are to recall in physics, what we call a vacuum is an empty what? Empty space. So here we are saying that electromagnetic radiation is a form of energy transmitted through a vacuum, in bracket what we are calling an empty space, or a medium, for example, such as a glass, in which electric and magnetic fields are propagated as what? As waves. So as you can look at that drawing, that diagram below. So we are having where we have an increasing energy, and from right to left, that is the increasing wavelength. Then down there, so when we said that is the structure, or okay, that's the structure of the electromagnetic spectrum. So we are saying that the electromagnetic spectrum consists of 8 types of radiation. 1 is called cosmic rays, 2 the gamma rays, 3 the X-rays, 4 the ultraviolet rays, then 5 the visible light spectrum, 6 the infrared rays, then 7 we have what we call the electric rays, and 8 the radio rays. So as you can look at that visible spectrum. So now we are saying this side that we are having the violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and then what? Then red. So that spectrum runs from 400 nanometers to 700 what? Nanometers. But this is also very important to note under this spectrum. So we are saying that the shorter the wavelength, the greater the frequency. I hope you remember this from physics of O level, that the shorter the wavelength, the greater the frequency. Then number 2, we are saying light with a short wavelength has more energy than light with the longer wavelength. E.g., the blue light, which is having wavelength of 400 nanometers, has more energy than a photon of red light, which is 700 what? Nanometers. So we are saying, we've been saying that light with a short wavelength has greater frequency than that light with a longer what? A longer wave frequency. I don't know whether you have ever come about to an objective, the most absorbed light, that blue light, or you remember, actually I've ever met that objective, that which of the following is the most absorbed light. Then they can say A, blue light, B, red light, like that. So the most answer, or the most correct answer, is what? Is blue light. Then from there, let us go and look at the origins of photosynthetic light. Where do these photosynthetic light come from? That is their origin. Now we have what we call the incandescence. So when we talk about the incandescence, so this means the emission of light rays from a hotter object. An example is the sun. So they are saying that incandescence, so this means that the emission of light from a hotter matter, e.g. the sun, the hotter the material, the shorter the wavelength of emitted what? Emitted light. So the more the energy. Then number 2 is luminescence. Luminescence means that the emission of light when excited, electrons follow to a lower energy. So emitting a photon, e.g. the light emitting diode bulbs in school labs, the fluorescent lights, the lights from the leaf extracts, etc. So those lights are called the luminescence lights, and these ones are produced when unexcited electrons follow to a lower energy level. Then from there, we went ahead and look at what we call the nature of light. Now, it is also very important in nutrition, especially autotrophic, which we say that it is self-feeding. So it is also important for you to note the nature of what? Light. We are saying that visible light is the part of the electromagnetic spectrum between the wavelength of 400 nanometers and 740 nanometers, known as the photosynthetic active radiations, in bracket PAR. So I say the PAR means photosynthetic active radiations. So that's the nature. So you're saying that the visible light is the part of the electromagnetic spectrum between that wavelength which they have given you. Now, after knowing that, let us also go ahead and look at what we are calling the fate of light. So the fate of light that hits a leaf. Now, light interacts with a leaf in 3 ways. So I want you to note this, that light interacts with the leaf in 3 ways, what we are calling the fate of light that hits a leaf. Number 1 is reflection or reflectance. So light can simply rebound off the leaf surface and hence never utilized in a leaf for photosynthesis. So have you ever asked yourself that, because they normally say that leaves absorb what? Absorb the sunlight, which helps them in the process of what? Photosynthesis. But is it true that the leaves absorb all that light which falls onto them? The answer is no. Not all the light which falls on the leaf that it is absorbed and used for what? For photosynthesis. So here we are looking at number 1, which is deflection, and we are saying that light can simply rebound off the leaf surface and hence never utilized in leaf photosynthesis. That we have that light which can be reflected off from the what? From the leaf, or which can be bounced off from the what? From the leaf. Then number 2 is transmission or transmittance. Now, through the leaf existing from the underside, then you have what we call absorbance by the leaf. So in which case the light might be used in photosynthesis. So the light which is absorbed might be used in photosynthesis. Then below there they are saying of the absorbed visible light radiation, 70% is used in photosynthesis, while 30% is transmitted through the leaf. That out of the 100% light which falls on the what? On the leaf. So here they are telling us that only 70% is absorbed and is the one which is going to be used in what? Photosynthesis, while the 30% is transmitted through the leaf. Now, another bullet there, they are saying that the blue and red are the most absorbed wavelength. Yeah, I talked about this earlier there, that which wavelength is most absorbed. There the answer is blue, and I hope you know the reason why, because I talked about it. So blue and red are the most absorbed wavelength, and the green and far red wavelengths, those passes through. So here they are saying us that the green and the far red, the far infrared, those wavelengths pass through the what? Through those leaves. Then transmission depends on the thickness of the what? The leaf. Thin leaves transmit more light than thick leaves. So transmission, that one depends on the thinness or thickness of the what? The leaf. And we are saying that thin leaves transmit more light than thick leaves. So in the next episode, we are going to look at light in a forest, in bracket shade environment. So I sign out. Please subscribe, then comment. I sign out.